In a world that still clings tightly to the narrative that a woman's value is measured by her relationship status, there exists a quiet revolution, one not of protest signs and speeches, but of choices made in silence. The woman who lives alone, who chooses herself, is not broken or bitter. She is whole. Her solitude is not a product of heartbreak or rejection, it is a conscious decision born from inner clarity and strength. Redefining solitude. Not lonely, just whole. For centuries, women have been socialized to find purpose through relationships. But some women are challenging this blueprint by embracing a life rooted not in companionship, but in authenticity. They are not cold, they are selective. Not lonely, but intentional. The silence they surround themselves with is not emptiness, it's sanctuary. It is in this sacred space that they find themselves, far from the noise of expectations and roles dictated by society. Choosing solitude is not an escape, it's a confrontation. These women have turned inward, facing the shadows Carl Jung once spoke of: repressed emotions, childhood wounds, internalized fears. Through this process, they have stopped mistaking attention for affection and have redefined love as something that must never shrink or silence them. Emotional maturity. Scarred, not shattered. Their emotional journey wasn't linear. They've begged for crumbs and dimmed their light to feel accepted. But at some point, the disappointments stopped being painful and started being instructive. The result is emotional maturity, a trait often mistaken for aloofness. They no longer chase love that costs them their peace, nor do they accept shallow connections masked as affection. This newfound strength doesn't make them unfeeling, it makes them discerning. They crave presence, not promises. Depth, not drama. Reciprocity, not rescue. And this stance unsettles many, because it dismantles old structures. The myth that a woman needs a partner to feel complete. The mirror of power and the fear it awakens. There's a quiet discomfort that surrounds the presence of these women. They are a mirror, reflecting a version of emotional sovereignty many desire but few dare to embody. Their very being challenges men who rely on dependency for control and confuses women still tied to approval as a metric of worth. In choosing themselves, they unknowingly expose the emotional contracts still silently governing the world. They don't isolate, they preserve. They don't reject love, they raise its standards. The fortress they built around themselves wasn't to keep others out but to keep themselves in. They understand that real love must liberate, not possess, and that kind of love requires both parties to be whole. A new archetype. The awakened woman. What we're witnessing is the rise of a new feminine archetype, one not defined by submission or self-denial, but by presence and essence. She doesn't seek validation. She radiates quiet confidence. She's not interested in being chosen, she does the choosing. That reversal is revolutionary in a system built on female compliance and male approval. Carl Jung's concept of individuation, the integration of shadow and self, is embodied in her. She's faced her pain, emerged from it with clarity, and refuses to play roles that no longer fit. Her solitude is not a pause before a relationship, it is a commitment to never lose herself again. The revolution of self-love. This woman still longs for love, but not the kind that demands pieces of her soul as a down payment. She's not looking for perfection but for emotional responsibility. Her love won't be rooted in lack or fear, but in mutual overflow. Until then, she walks alone, not because she has given up on love, but because she has fallen in love with peace. To the outside world, she may seem distant or intimidating. But beneath that calm surface lies a deep, pulsing truth. She has chosen herself, and in doing so, has rewritten the very definition of love. She's no longer surviving relationships, she's waiting for one that honors the vastness of her soul. Closing thoughts. The invitation within. If this story stirs something within you, a quiet ache, a hidden longing, or a spark of remembrance, it may be because you, too, are ready. Ready to stop seeking wholeness outside and begin the courageous journey inward. The woman who walks alone is not a warning. She is an invitation. Not to loneliness, but to liberation. To the kind of love that begins with a vow to yourself: I will no longer settle for less than my truth. She is not waiting for applause, nor validation. She is simply being. And in that simple act, she becomes a force, one that challenges the world to see women not as halves in search of completion, but as complete beings, choosing connection without compromise.